Okay, we're moving on to Kauski Atemi Waza, variation 3. This time we're going to be doing a Kiriage deflection to the inside instead of the outside, with the Suriage to grabbing in and then straight punch counter right to the face. This can become kind of dangerous when receiving this. If you're not really proficient with your hand deflections, you're definitely going to want to get proficient with this, because when those punches start coming with the intent to actually make contact and hit you, as you're trying to deflect, if that deflects and then this secondary hand is late, you always got to think that he has a left hand. So when he's going to punch, if this punches and pulls back and you're not ready to strike, or you're not striking at that point, if you're not taking center and punching right in the face, this other hand's going to come. So you got to think that this is the initial threat, but this is the aftermath. This is what's coming. Once this doesn't succeed, this is going to fire right away. So you have to get to them before this punch happens. Okay? Hey. Let's switch sides. Just so you can see this real quick, just from this angle. So as he punches, this deflection happens, this comes up. Okay? So you have this deflection of here, and then your hand's ready to just rock him right in the mouth. Okay? So deflect, it's right there. Right away. Okay? Deflect, right there. So now punch, pull back. So right there. And if you miss that, faster, pull back faster. If you miss that, this is still there. Boom, you're nailing them. Okay? Notice how we're super close, our distance is close. Okay, because obviously you're not going to be here and someone's going to walk up and throw this punch. Now you got to keep in mind that this is based off of Aikido attacks. Okay, it's the concept and principle that's important here. Okay, because this can be done from somebody using a reverse punch or a reverse stance and throwing this type of a punch. It could still work. It will still work. It's the principles that actually make Aikido effective, not so much the actual technique. Okay, it's the principles of evading, deflecting, irimi, entering, tenkan, turning to dissipate force. It's the principles, it's the mindset. The hand deflections also teach you not to fear being hit. Okay? If you're able to overcome that to where the attacks happen and your hand deflections are precise and you're very proficient, okay, at doing hand deflections, you're never going to have to worry. You're never going to second guess yourself if you're going to be able to deflect the punch or not. You're going to be extremely confident, and that bleeds out into the real world. Okay? Because the real world, you don't have that attacker that has a lot of stability per se, because you get a lot of those haymaker punches, and when they miss, they're instantly off balance because they're thinking in their head they're going to actually make contact, to where, the idea is, they're thinking that your face is going to stop their momentum. Their energy is going to come up from the ground, through the legs, through your body, into their hand, boom, right into your face, and that's how you're going to maintain balance, because there is a stopping point. There is a target that your energy is going to transfer into that person, and you're going to maintain balance. Boom! You're going to maintain that. Well, what happens with this is when you deflect, okay, especially a straight jab, you deflect that, or you move out of the way and you miss, you lose that balance. That's what usually will happen on the street. Okay? I know a lot of people are going to critique this and be like, oh, well, this is that, this is this. Guys, this is not about, the spirit of the Aikido principle per se, to where it's not about harming your uke. Okay, I look at it this way when it comes to this, is if somebody attacks me on the street, I'm going to do whatever it takes that's necessary to stop the threat. Do I want to hurt anybody? No, I don't. But I'm going to do what's necessary to protect myself and protect the people that I'm with. If I'm with anybody, my loved ones, that's just the nature of the beast. And if you guys can't seem to understand that, okay, then you guys are living in a fantasy land, in a sense, to where this isn't the way what Aikido is and blah, blah, blah. This is my journey, okay? This is my expression of Aikido. Whatever works for you, that's great. Whatever works for me, that's great. What necessarily works for me, in my views, okay, and my methodology, might not work for you. It might not fit with your personality and the type of person you are, okay? And that's well and fine, okay? But when it comes down to the brass tacks of things, when it comes down to the street application of how I'm going to defend myself versus the way how you're going to defend yourself, I'm willing to bet that you're going to walk away with your ass kicked 90% of the time against a street fighter. Okay? I'm not. I've been in those situations. People know I've publicly have said this several times. I have an extensive amount of experience dealing with all different types of people from a previous job that I held for 23 years. And I know what happens on the street. I know how people react in fights. I know how people fight. I see body language. I see all of that as a whole. You know, but when I get people that are, you know, Aikido people, you know, traditional Aikido, whatever, and they, you know, you guys want to come back and say things and make comments and whatnot, you guys are missing the whole fucking point here. Okay, that's what I'm seeing, is that you guys watch the video, you critique the video, and then you make your comments. And the majority of the time, your comments don't even fit what the video presentation was, or the actual Aikido demonstration. Keep an open mind about this, okay? There's one thing that I have that the majority of you don't have, and that's life experience on the street when it comes to this. I don't give a shit about the whole MMA sparring thing. I get a lot of people asking me questions about, you know, when are you gonna do sparring videos? When are you gonna do this? When are you gonna do that? I don't really fucking care about that, okay? That's not in my agenda to show people how Aikido is gonna work against an MMA fighter, okay? I don't know how many times I gotta sit there and say this until I'm blue in the fucking face. I speak from life experience. I've never been in a fight in the real world when I was a bouncer or on the street period with anybody that had MMA fighting experience, okay? Wrap your head around this, gentlemen and ladies, okay? Martial artists don't go and start fights because we're all disciplined and controlled. The sport fighting aspect is about entertainment, okay? That's what it is. Two combatants in the ring, you know exactly what each person's weaknesses and strengths are. You have fight tape from the person that you're fighting, so you can build a strategy off of that, and vice versa. On the street, you don't know what that person has. You don't know what type of experience they have. You don't have any of that shit. You have no previous knowledge about this person that's about to attack you, or you get into a confrontation with somebody and get into a fight. You know nothing about that person, unless obviously it's one of your friends and you get in an argument, whatever, but that's a whole different story. But I'm talking about some Joe Blow out there that just starts a fight for no reason because of X, Y, and Z. You don't know what that person's capable of. And he might not have any skills whatsoever. He just might be a street fighter, that's it. Okay, that's it. You guys gotta really start to understand that. Because the stuff that I'm doing is my methodology. This is what works for me. This is what I'm sharing with you. Okay, and people request, oh, do a video on this, do a video on that. Well, how about this? Okay, how about you do a video on it? Instead of telling me to do it, why are you asking me to do it? How about you do the fucking video? Stop asking me to do videos about it, and you do the video. How about that? Because I'll tell you what, why would I listen to anything that you have to say telling me what to do when you're sitting back doing absolutely nothing? Okay? I put myself out on YouTube, all over social media. I'm completely vulnerable to all of you to make comments and critique what I'm doing, and that's great that you guys do that. But you guys completely miss the point of what I'm doing by trying to water it down with all this philosophy bullshit when everyone clearly knows I'm not into that. I'm not into the love, peace, and harmony side of Aikido. I'm not into that. I did that for a very long time, okay? I'm not into that anymore. I'm into the practical application of these things, okay? Plain and simple. You don't like it? Watch somebody else's channel. It's as simple as that, okay? But until you go out and you do a video and you put yourself out there for the world to critique, shut the fuck up. It's real simple. And you guys go, oh man, he's pissed off. I'm not pissed off, okay? I just naturally look like I'm pissed off all the time. It's because I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I'm doing you guys a favor by doing these things. You see anybody else on YouTube doing stuff like this? No, you don't. You see Christian Tissier doing videos like this, Atemi Sensei, Aikido Sensei, Frank Duran Sensei. Do you see any videos of these guys modernizing Aikido or showing practical application of these techniques? No, you don't. You know, you see anybody doing it? No, I'm the only one that's doing it, okay? So instead of bitching about it, why don't you just appreciate what I'm doing and pick up something from it? Add it to your repertoire of training. Add it to your teaching methodologies, okay? Because if you're not doing it and you want me to do everything, what does that say? Are you afraid to make a video? Are you some fat slob that has zero fucking skill, that can't be in front of a camera because you're camera shy or you get stage fright? You know, think about these things. I have no problem standing in front of a camera. I have no problem putting myself out there for the world to see what I'm doing. Instead of sitting there bashing what I'm doing or trying to flip the script of what I'm doing and try to sit there and tell me what I'm doing wrong or what I'm doing right, when you're sitting there doing nothing, you're doing absolutely nothing but bitching, running your fucking mouths. That's one of the things that really drives me nuts, is that there's so many people crying about shit, talking about shit. Stop talking. Execute. Do. Stop talking about, oh, let's change Aikido. Let's make it this way. Let's make it that way. But we have to keep the philosophy intact. Who cares about the philosophy? Who cares? The philosophy of Aikido isn't going to save your life on the street. The practical application is. Wrap your head around that. Okay? If you're not doing anything to help the process, if you're being a part of the problem and not being part of the solution, then you know what? Don't bother commenting. Just watch the video and be on your way, or don't watch the video at all. But until you get up off your ass and you start doing something about it, it's going to continue being the way that it is. And I'm the only one that seems to be doing anything about it. So again, maybe you should just be saying thank you, whether you like it or not, and be on your way. Because until you start doing something about it, don't tell me how to do my job and what I'm doing. Because you're not me, and you don't have the experience that I have, period. Because if you did, you'd be sharing this with the world. And if you do have that, why aren't you sharing it with the world? Why are you being selfish and holding back? Okay? So a lot of guys on some of these forums that I post, they like to make really stupid comments, you know, and I'm not going to name names. I can, but I'm not going to, because I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of being highlighted on my YouTube video. Okay? I'm just not going to do it. Okay? But all you guys out there that want to talk about, oh, I train in BJJ and I do this and I do that and I've cross-trained in Aikido. You know, why did you leave Aikido in the first place? Okay? Because you weren't getting something from the training to where you got something else, or you want to be more well-rounded martial artist. Are you fucking kidding me? But you abandoned Aikido to go do something else. You left Aikido for a reason. Okay? Because you weren't getting something from the training. And I get that. I understand it. You just have to discover what that is and incorporate that into the training mindset. Yeah, we train, you know, traditionally in a sense where we honor the respect of, you know, wearing the uniform, wearing the hakama, things like that. But the methodology has changed, and it's going to continue to change. And I'm not going anywhere, whether you like it or not. You know, keep bashing the videos. I don't really care. 99% of the time, I don't read most of the comments anyways, okay? Because I don't really care what people have to say, okay? Comments that I have read, okay, it gets irritating because it's like, you know what? This is my work. This is what I do for you guys, okay? What am I asking for in return? Nothing. I'm not asking for anything. I'm not expecting anything in return. That's it. Just show some gratitude for what I've done and for what I'm still continuing to do, for all you guys out there that want to sit there and bitch about what I'm doing that are doing absolutely nothing, okay? If you're doing nothing about anything, where do you have the right to even criticize somebody else's work? So again, if you're going to criticize, why don't you just shut the fuck up, stop talking about it, and make your own video? It's as simple as that. Make your own video. Let the world see what you're doing, and let the world critique what you're doing, and see how you feel when people bash your shit, okay? And like I said, the majority of you guys out there, the ones that have bullshit Aikido or bullshit YouTube names, you guys are probably a bunch of fat assholes anyways, okay? You probably aren't even in shape. Your technique probably sucks. That's why you're not doing anything. Truth hurts. Because I know there's a lot of you out there that are not in shape. I know there's a lot of you out there that you think that you're good, but you're really not. Because if you were good, you'd be sharing with the world. Because isn't that what Aikido is all about? Sharing with the world? That's what O-sensei did. That's what all of his students did. So why aren't you sharing? So why don't you share some of your knowledge and see how far you go with it? That was my rant. Anyways, back to what we were doing. So as the punch comes in, okay, this retraction strike, okay, even if he has both hands up at that point, you know, retraction strike right there. So punch, pull back faster, boom, you have that right away, okay? That retraction to this, boom, right there, faster, punch, pull back faster. Still have it, faster, one more time. Right there, one more time. Okay? So that's Kowski Atemi variation 2. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.